Hey, welcome to Gridiron Gurus. It's week 6 of the football season. I'm Travis Lazarzik alongside Bill Stewart for the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel. A lot of big games statewide this week, Bill. Big one down in the Campbell Conference Class C. Wells and Mountain Valley both undefeated, but the biggest game in Class B this week might be the battle in Farmington between undefeated Levitt and undefeated Mount Blue.
Sure, Levitt comes in with the best defense in the league, allowing only 54 points total. It is the two-time defending conference champions. And, certainly the Hornets are led by quarterback Jordan Hersom, who is probably the best running quarterback in the league, if not the best overall quarterback. Of course, there's a fellow up in Mount Blue who might beg differently on that one.
Yeah, Mount Blue junior Jordan Whitney is just having a phenomenal season for himself. He threw 4 touchdown passes last week on 4 completions, and he's got big targets in Nick Hilton on one side, Cam Senek on the other. Hilton's 6'4", Cam Senek 6'6", and his Mount Blue coach Gary Parlin says all season there's nobody in the league with a cornerback who's 6'6". So it'll be interesting to see how the Hornets match up in the secondary against the Cougars offense. Cougars also have Isaiah Tracy at running back, Eric Berry at running back. A lot of weapons, like Levitt has a lot of weapons with Jake Collette, Brian Bedard. Just should be a really good offensive shootout kind of game.
Sure, and Travis, there's a couple real big games in the PTCA this week. This playoff picture is probably going to come into focus a little bit. Let's start with Messalonskee, Brunswick. Both teams come in 4-1. This should be a pretty good game Friday night.
Yeah, both teams 4-1, fighting for playoff spots. Really, the winner might have an inside track at a home game in the first round. Both have some tough games coming up, though. Messalonskee not only plays Brunswick this week, they've got games with Bangor and Lawrence coming up too, so it'll be a good test at the second half of the season for the Eagles.
Sure, and Brunswick coach Cooper said, hey, if we win out, we may have on the inside track a number 1 seed in this thing. So this could be a pretty interesting race as well. And of course, another big game in the PTCA, Lewiston's going to be playing Lawrence, so this should be a pretty interesting game as well.
Yeah, and in the Campbell Conference Class C, there's a big game between Winthrop and Oak Hill.
Sure, and Oak Hill comes in having won 3 straight games. It's really played itself into a pretty good position in the playoff hunt. Winthrop's kind of gone the opposite direction here. It's lost 2 straight. Really is going to need to get it needs a key victory to keep itself alive in the playoff hunt. So it'll be very interesting to see. Winthrop last weekend suffered a pretty tough loss at Maranacook. It played without more than a dozen players who were out, by breaking a school policy, and they're going to be getting those players back, and they certainly need them. And this is a huge game for both of these teams, really.
Yeah. And in the Little 10 Conference, you have Mountain View at MCI. MCI, after dropping their first 3 games of the season, has won 2 in a row to get back into the playoff hunt. Mountain View might be the surprise of that league. They've never won more than 2 games in the regular season. They won their 3rd game of the season last week up at Herman. The Mustangs really feel like this is a year where they can maybe put together 4 or 5 wins and make a run into the Little 10 Conference playoffs.
So there are going to be plenty of great games this weekend.
That's right, and wherever you go, I hope you enjoy yourself, and we'll see you next week on Gridiron Gurus.